In 1839, the British Empire was dealing opium, deliberately, systematically, and at industrial scale. When China tried to stop them, Britain went to war and won. This is the story of how a drug trade reshaped the modern world, and why China has never forgotten it. In the 18th century, Britain had a serious problem. China had everything Britain wanted: tea, silk, and the finest porcelain in the world. But China wanted almost nothing Britain produced in return. Silver was flooding out of Britain at an alarming rate. The British East India Company found its answer growing in the vast poppy fields of Bengal. Opium, refined in India, then smuggled into China through the port of Canton. China had banned opium imports. Britain ignored the ban completely. By the 1830s, millions of Chinese people were addicted. The trade deficit had reversed completely. Silver was now pouring out of China into Britain. By 1839, the Chinese emperor had seen enough. He appointed a man named Lin Zexu to end the trade. Lin was a Confucian scholar and imperial commissioner, and by all accounts, completely incorruptible. He arrived in Canton with one mission and one mission only: end the opium trade permanently. He wrote an open letter directly to Queen Victoria herself, appealing to her moral responsibility. The letter never reached the Queen. It was lost, or ignored, somewhere in transit. Lin surrounded the foreign merchant quarter in Canton and placed the British traders under complete siege. Lin seized over 20,000 chests of opium from British merchants, 1,400 tons of the drug worth millions of pounds. He had it all mixed with salt and lime and poured directly into the sea. It took 23 days to destroy it all. Britain called Lin's destruction of the opium an act of war against British commercial interests. In June 1840, the Royal Navy arrived off the Chinese coast with 16 warships and 4,000 troops. Britain had steam-powered iron warships with rotating cannon. China had wooden junks armed with medieval artillery. The Royal Navy bombarded Chinese forts, seized coastal cities, and blockaded the country's major ports with devastating ease. Chinese soldiers fought bravely at every fort and city, but bravery alone cannot overcome a two-century technological gap. Within 2 years, the Qing dynasty was forced to surrender and accept Britain's terms entirely. In August 1842, China signed the Treaty of Nanking, the first of what the Chinese would call the unequal treaties. China was forced to pay Britain 21 million silver dollars in reparations for the opium Britain had been illegally smuggling. 5 major Chinese ports were forced open to British trade permanently, ports that China had kept closed for centuries. And Hong Kong Island was ceded to the British Empire in perpetuity. It would remain British for 155 years. The Chinese call what followed the Century of Humiliation, 100 years of foreign exploitation that began with this single war. Lin Zexu was sent into exile by his own emperor, blamed for provoking the British by destroying their smuggled drugs. He is remembered in China today as a national hero, the man who dared to say no. Britain continued selling opium into China for another 75 years after winning this war to protect its right to do so. When Hong Kong was returned to China in 1997, a 155-year consequence of this war was finally undone. The first domino in this entire chain was something as ordinary as a British cup of tea. A cup of tea, an opium chest, a naval cannon, a treaty written at gunpoint, one chain. History doesn't break, it tips. The East India Company called opium its single most profitable commodity of the entire 19th century. HMS Nemesis, the first iron steam warship ever deployed in Asian waters, was essentially unstoppable by any Chinese weapon of the era. The lesson that China took from this war, never again be weak, never again be vulnerable, still drives its foreign policy today. Subscribe to the Domino Files, a new First Domino every single week.